Read the passage about a girl who is determined to study her father's history and then answer the questions that follow. From Backwater by Joanne Bauer. I knelt in the snow in front of my great-great-great-great-grandfather's gravestone, took my bristle brush and cleaned the surface, working the bristles deep into each engraved letter. When you're making a gravestone rubbing, you have to care about every detail, or you might as well stay home. People want to rush the process, slap on the paper, whip out a wax marker, and bam, instant history. But I tell them, you can't rush connecting to the past. You've got to respect it. I attached thin, wide paper over the stone with masking tape, took out my colored wax cakes, and rubbed them across the paper slowly until the image came out. First the cross gavels, which meant he was a lawyer, then the eye underneath, which meant that even though great-great-great-great-grandpa was dead, he was still watching. A few of the papers shifted during rubbing, but I worked carefully, making sure Millard Breedlove's message was preserved from generations to come. Oh, whilst that all my sons be lawyers, lest my heart break with the anguish that they have become lesser men. It was the big guilt number from the grave, and it worked. There have been scores of Breedlove lawyers in my family ever since. Scores means a great many. I was not going to be one of them, however. I was going to be a historian and spend time in quiet research libraries and find new insights into the past to help people in the present. I lived for historical perspective. I was diligently practicing my craft, too. I had 63 days left to finish writing and researching the Breedlove family history in time for Great Aunt Tib's 80th birthday celebration. 63 days sounds like all the time in the world to finish something, but anything can happen when you're wrestling with antiquity. Antiquity means the quality of being ancient. Deadline pressure was just one of my problems. The other one was my father, Daniel Webster Breedlove, a prominent meaning important and well-known, trial attorney who became positively rankled at the thought that his daughter, me, would desert the family cause. He constantly warned that his father, William Washington, Iron Will Breedlove, the great circuit judge of Massachusetts County, would roll over in his grave at such a notion. People think it's exciting being part of a family with so many successful lawyers. I tell them it's like being a goldfish swimming in a tank stocked with snapping turtles. It's hard to keep a lasting presence. I sat in the snow, surrounded by the whispers of dead relatives. It was the day after Christmas, and pandemonium, meaning a wild uproar and chaos, reigned at the old house. I sat deeper in the snow. Fiona is my aunt by marriage to my Uncle Archie. She's one of those adults who doesn't think teenagers can do anything. Last month, she announced that no one had time to weed through a huge family history of names, stories, and dates, and that she was going to have a video family history put together. Lickety-split. That's one of her stupid sayings. So when most of the family rallied around her and said a video was just what everyone wanted, I wanted to crawl off somewhere and evaporate. The power of cable television is fierce. Aunt Tib supported me. She always has. As a retired history teacher, Tib knows about perspective. She started researching the Breedlove family tree because she wanted to get the sense of who this family really was. Find the common vows we all shared, the ones we'd misplaced, the stories we had in common, and the ones we'd pushed aside. And when her eyes started going bad 2 years ago, she picked me to be her assistant, which was a great honor because at the time I was only 14. Down through the ages, there have been Breedloves who collected family information, but Tib and I are the first ones to put it all together. We drew a chart of the Breedloves through history, beginning with our early roots in England to our immigrant status in New York and New Hampshire, to what Tib called the great Breedlove expansion across America that has made us what we are today. Entrenched. Entrenched means established and well-known. Then, sadly, her eyes gave out, and it was up to me to see the project through. Tib wouldn't let anyone feel sorry for her either. She got a cane and went to classes to learn to get by. "You finish what I started," Tib told me. "That's history's way." Plenty of people didn't like that, saying how an adult should be doing it. Adult is a magic word for some individuals who think that becoming one is like getting sprayed with instant insight. But insight means understanding. But I've never worked harder at anything in my life. Gathering family stories, poring through old diaries, letters, scrapbooks, and family Bibles. Crawling around dusty attics in search of heirlooms. I've read wills and insurance papers until I'm blue in the face. Gone through hundreds of old photographs. There are a million things a family historian has to do. Wet snow soaked through the seat of my blue jeans. I thought of my 14 file folders of family research back home in the huge plastic container with the emerald green, dust-free top sitting there undervalued. I thought of my 52 pages of text I had already written and Aunt Tibbs and my years of genealogical labor being preempted. Preempted means taken over. By a quick fix film strip. I squeezed my eyes tight to keep in the tears. My father can't wait for me to finish this project. He's concerned that I'm obsessing on it. I feel that's extreme. Compulsing means worrying over small details. Compulsing, maybe. But what does a kid do when she has so many questions? Do you just swallow them like they don't matter? I don't want to know things. I've always been that way. And at 16, I'm sure not changing now. What influenced my parents? Who were my grandparents and great-grandparents and aunts and uncles and cousins down through the ages? What part of them do I share?